and welcome to the Art of Artisan. Today we're going to be taking a little bit of a step back from newer cards, and we're going to be playing a adventures deck. Now, if you know adventures, you'll know Edgewall Innkeeper and Lucky Clover. These are both uncommons, which means we can build a really powerful deck around two insanely powerful build rounds. So Edgewall Innkeeper, whenever we cast a creature spell with an adventure, we draw a card. And Lucky Clover, whenever we cast an adventure, we double it, which pretty much means both halves of these cards that already have like this natural card advantage of being two spells in one, both halves come with an upside of being worth an additional card. So like from a card advantage perspective, these are all going to be absolutely busted cards. So we've got Beanstalk Giant to help us ramp, so we can spend mana on all these cards we're going to be drawing on everything. It's also just a good finisher. If the game goes long, we can drop some 7/7 creature into play. We've got our card advantage, Order of Midnight, return a creature card from our graveyard to our hand. Foulmire Knight, which helps slow down the game and is card advantage later when we need it. But the card that this deck is probably most built around is Smitten Swordmaster. Smitten Swordmaster's Adventure drains our opponent for X life, where X is the number of knights we control. And so our deck is running a couple of other knights. We've got Belle of the Brawl, which is also a weird sort of knight lord. Sprouting Renewal, which is naturalize mixed with a knight if we need one. And one copy of Deathless Knight, because why not? And this, so with all these knights, I mean, we have a total of 17 knights in the deck. So we should be able to have 2 or 3 knights on the battlefield when we cast this. But if you think about it, if it's doubled, that's 6 damage. 6 damage for 1 mana, and gaining 6 life is absolutely insane. And a 2/1 lifelinker isn't that bad of a creature either. So like if we get down 2 Lucky Clovers or something, and we have 4 knights down, like you can do some insane stuff with this. So our deck is really hoping to get a lot of knights on the battlefield, generate a bunch of card advantage to grind out the game, and then close it out with surprise damage from Smitten Swordmaster. Since we are playing a bit of a longer game, unlike a lot of my decks, we're playing a bit more fair. We need to have good interaction with our opponent. So we've got good removal in Fatal Push, Heartless Act, and Ravenous Chupacabra. Elspeth's Nightmare is also removal. It's also interaction with the graveyard, and it's interaction with combos that aren't based around creatures. So this should help us to beat control decks a bit more, although I think control decks should already be a decent matchup, because like Lucky Clover and Order of Midnight pretty much gives you infinite card advantage if you have one already in the graveyard, because you can cast Order of Midnight to bring back 2 cards from your graveyard, one of which is an Order of Midnight. Cast the Order of Midnight, it eventually dies, and you use the other Order of Midnight to bring it back along with another creature. Like, you can pretty much go infinite. And the lands are, we're playing a lot of lands, even though we've got a fairly low curve, mostly because of all the card advantage and the fact that, like, Smitten Swordmaster looks like a 2-mana card, but it's kind of a 3-mana card. Order of Midnight is kind of a 4-mana card, kind of even more, because you can pay 2 mana to get something back, and then you spend the mana to cast that thing and the mana to cast Order of Midnight. So this card on its own can take like 7 mana to use up all of its value. So we are playing a full 24 lands despite the low curve. You could even maybe go up to 25. I just wanted to splash in Deathless Knight because I wanted to see if it would work. And speaking of Deathless Knight, if our opponent's like playing Mill or something, we've got 4 Jungle Hollows and Smitten Swordmaster. That's the only way to trigger it, but I want to see if it'll work. And so this is Lucky Knights. Lucky Clover, Smitten Swordmaster, Edgewall Innkeeper. Crazy strong deck when you're playing it with rares. Like when you have this adventure deck, Golgari Adventures was a legitimate deck in standard, and a lot of the cards are uncommons and commons. So we're playing some worse replacements, like Belle of the Brawl is kind of weak. It's kind of just there to fill the curve, to have a 3-drop. But I think this deck is just going to be powerful. And unlike most of my decks, I did not test this at all. I made the deck based on some theoretical things. It may be awful, but I wanted to give you guys an experience of me playing a deck that I just have not even touched before. I crafted it right before the video, no test drives. So let's see how this deck does. Game number 1. Playing against Ultra Doug. And our opening hand is awesome. Wow, this is a good hand. We've got Edgewalling, we've got 2 of our payoffs and 2 of our enablers and 2 payoffs. Sprouting Renewal is a little bit of interaction potentially. It's another Knight. If this was an untapped swamp, this hand would be golden. But as it stands, this hand is still great. I think we're going to lead off with Jungle Hollow and then play Lucky Clover on turn 2. It's probably the best play. Depends on how aggro we need to be. If we need to be aggro, I might just Order of Midnight as a creature, start beating down. But I probably want Edgewall Innkeeper before that. So I'll draw a land in these first 3 turns, do Lucky Clover, and then another Lucky Clover. And our opponent's red, which means they're potentially aggressive, and this Smitten Swordmaster with 2 Lucky Clovers could be draining for a lot. We'll see, though. Opponent, okay, they're a red deck, but they haven't done anything yet. Also, Beanstalk Giant. Note that this searches your library for a land card and puts it onto the battlefield untapped, potentially, if the land naturally comes into play untapped. Which means this card, when we have Lucky Clover down, it's a 1 mana. It's effectively 1 mana to double ramp, which is insane. Oh, Bone Crusher. Okay. Opponent's playing some adventures of their own. With 2 Lucky Clovers. Okay, we can draw a card by Edgewall into Foulmire Knight. We'll be guaranteed to draw a card because this is on cast. That does lose out on some value, but I think we need to hit our land drops so we can Beanstalk Giant next turn. Yeah. So we're going to Edgewall Innkeeper, immediately into Foulmire Knight to draw a card. There's a swamp. There we go. All right. And that starts increasing our... Oh, wait. Oh my gosh, I can just cast Sprouting Renewal. This card is so good on turns that you're trying to multi-spell. That's just a 2/2 Knight for 1 mana. Like, that's not insane, but it's flexible. Yeah, I wasn't sure when I added it to the deck list, but just for this 1 turn, I'm already like, that's a good card. Smitten Swordmaster, we can drain our opponent for 6 next turn if we want, which is kind of fun. But I think I'm just going to Beanstalk Giant, Fertile Footsteps, copy that, get a green and a black, and then play our second Lucky Clover. Yeah, green. And black. Wow, this deck is feeling super strong. This does not feel like an Artisan deck. Like, because it's not even like it feels that synergistic. It feels like we're just doing generic mid-rangey things, but they're just so strong right now. We've got the Death Touch blocker for... Oh, they're Gruul aggro. Okay, that explains the higher mana curve. And they're scared to attack into the Foulmire Knight. Whew. This is when it becomes the target of a spell. So technically, Ravenous Chupacabra can just kill the Bone Crusher Giant. If we wanted, we could drain our opponent for 12 damage by casting Order of Midnight, Foulmire Knight, and then just activating the Smitten Swordmaster. I'm not too opposed to that. Let's actually start off by just playing Foulmire Knight to draw a card. No. It's an instant. It's a sorcery. Yeah, we're going to draw with Foulmire Knight. think we can just stall for a little bit here. Lucky Clover triggers twice. We draw 3 cards for 3 mana. That's pretty solid. Jungle Hollow is okay. This is also a sorcery, so I don't think we need any more mana this turn, so we're just going to do that. Cast our Foulmire Knight, draw a card, and pass the turn. No attacks. All right, we're going to hope our opponent... I wouldn't expect them to have any sweepers, considering they're an Elvish Mystic Llanowar Elf deck. I'm a little bit scared of, like, Embercleave this turn, but I don't know. Like, I don't think they can kill us this turn, and we have so much life drain this next turn. Like, we can Bell, Order of Midnight, drain for 15 life. Holy cow, that's a lot of life. If we draw another Smitten Swordmaster, we just win the game, straight up. Just right off the bat. Alright, so we didn't do that. So I think we need to slow our opponent down just a little bit. We have just Sprouting Renewal in the graveyard. So we're going to Ravenous Choo-Choo. Kill the Lovestruck Beast, because it's the most likely thing to actually kill us. Cast Bell of the Brawl. And we will swing in with 1 Foulmire Knight. Because every bit of life matters when we've got this incredible burn spell sitting in our hand. It could be 18 damage next... No, Ravenous Chupacabra is not. So it's still just 15 damage. If we draw Smitten Swordmaster, we just win. What the heck? Okay, they're going off, though. Like, the Great Henge is huge. It's a powerful card. They're swinging in with both. I can block Questing Beast with Bell. There's no chance I want to do that. Not when we have so much more life than our opponent. Oh, they're looking at stomping a Foulmire Knight. That's okay, we can get that back with Order of Midnight. In fact, blocking with Bell here is free. We can just get it back with Order of Midnight. What the heck? Alright, fair enough. Very well played, opponent. We will Order of Midnight. Return target card from our graveyard to our hand. I think I'll choose Bell of the Brawl. And you know what? I'm going to take one of these copies and return Foulmire Knight. And with the last copy, let's return Bell of the Brawl again. Sounds good. Oh no! Order of Midnight fizzles. I didn't have enough creatures in my graveyard, and Lucky Clover is not a May ability. That's a little bit awkward. Oh, I should have just been draining our opponent and then used Order of Midnight to get back the Smitten Swordmaster if I chump block with it. I feel like there's a couple things I could have done here. Let's start off by casting Foulmire Knight. This will draw us a card. It's a forest. Then I'll just cast Bell. And I think at this point I'm forced to drain for only 12 damage. Only 12, isn't that rough? Alright, we'll drain for 12. Smitten Swordmaster gains us a lot, gains us a lot, and gains us a lot. And we'll swing in with 1 Foulmire Knight. Oh man, I needed more dead creatures. That is such a funny thing, because technically, if your spell fizzles, the creature going into exile so you can cast it later is technically like part of the resolution of the spell. So if your opponent counters it, or if the spell fizzles, anything like that, you can't actually... Alright, drawing a Smitten Swordmaster wins us the game. Probably just about anything else loses. So we need to do whatever we can to get it. Yeah, I don't think we can survive another turn. But I don't think our opponent can gain life, and we do have 12 damage via Smitten Smitten Swordmaster. Now they can even kill one of our... Yeah, okay. It's all down to this. How many cards can we draw this turn to dig for a Smitten Swordmaster? So we cast Edgewall and cast Swordmaster. This draws us 2 cards. Jungle Hollow, Lucky Clover, and I think we are dead. They've got 10 flying. We don't have any sort of reach. Despite him being very tall, he cannot reach that high. And we lose. Well, we lost against a pretty good deck, I feel like. And I think I misplayed with the Order of Midnight, not trying to drain earlier. I should have thought Order of Midnight can bring back Smitten Swordmaster and just tried to suicide it. Yeah, nothing we can do. We can gain some life. Maybe I also should have not just been running out Foulmire Knights. I should have been saving them. But we'll call that the game. I'm just going to concede. Not going to make our opponent think anymore. They've won. Well played, Ultra Doug. Okay, I'm super happy with this deck, though. Despite that being a loss, that felt super duper powerful. I feel like we just let it out a little bit with the lands there at the end. Oh well, on to game 2. Game number 2. Playing against Grug. And we've got Edgewall Innkeeper, we've got Swordmat, so this is a pretty good hand. The question is, what order do I play everything? That's a little bit tough. If our opponent's aggro, we're probably not going to go for the Foulmire Knight value. And we'll just cast it to get the Edgewall Innkeeper draw before our opponent can kill the Innkeeper. Also to be mana efficient. Another red deck. Once again, double Swordmaster. I'm liking where this is going. Okay, they probably have like a Spike Field Hazard or Play with Fire, something to kill it. Goodbye, Innkeeper. You have saved us 2 life by getting a burn spell out of our opponent's hand. Oh wait, really? You're letting it live? That seems a very strange choice. Especially if you've got a Gitu Lava Runner. I'm suspicious. Okay, Foulmire Knight draws us a card. Another Innkeeper would probably actually be our best draw. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Alright, gotta think. So Foulmire Knight blocking Gitu Lava Runner prevents potentially a decent amount of damage over time. Wow, they're just burning our face. However, having it out there is potentially 2 life in the future from these Smitten Swordmasters. Oh, Chandra's Incinerator. Yeah, they're going to swing in. We're saving Foulmire Knight to block that Incinerator for sure. Okay. Next turn we can Chupacabra the Incinerator. This turn, I think we're just going to do something kind of lame. We can Beanstalk Giant into Smitten Swordmaster, drain for 1 life. But I think that's what we gotta do. Like every tiny bit of life matters, and this Beanstalk Giant helping us ramp to do Chupacabra and potentially something else. Like Smitten Swordmaster is a 2/1 life linker. The life link is super significant here. Because having life link means that we can block Gitu Lava Runner and gain 2 life. I mean, as I just mentioned, every bit of life matters. We've got Chupacabra to kill Incinerator, and then we'll have 1 mana left over next turn to Swordmaster again, I guess. We'll see. Oh, shoot. Incinerator's just going to kill everything. You may have risk factor deal 4 damage to you. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker. So they can deal 4 damage to our Foulmire Knight. Swing in for 8 damage this turn, plus the 4 damage they deal from risk factor. And I have no way to gain back life next turn. I have to let my opponent draw 3 cards. Well played, opponent. Punisher burn looking real good right now. To rob Lava Runner. They're not swinging in with the Incinerator. Perfect. We will block a Lava Runner here, and we will kill the Incinerator with Chupacabra. Yeah. This prevents more damage than saving it for later and casting Smitten Swordmaster. Okay. Anything cool I can do this turn? Oh, I just have enough mana to play Chupacabra. Smitten Swordmaster would do literally nothing, so there's no reason to play it. Kill the Incinerator. And okay, we need to get Smitten Swordmaster in the graveyard. Probably. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I know where we go to win this game. We've done a good job of hitting our land drops, which has been really helpful this game, because we're going to start multi-spelling like crazy. All right, now that they can't kill anything with this, yeah, we'll just take 4 damage. They can't cast an Incinerator unless they have another land drop, I believe. Yeah. Incinerator costs 2. We will block the Gitu Lava Runner. If our opponent does something crazy, we can Order of Midnight back a Chupacabra. Ooh, that's good. Okay. Edgewalling Keeper. Into Smitten Swordmaster, draw 2. Lucky Clover. Lucky Clover. Okay. What is the best play versus what is the funny play? Okay. Draining our opponent for life is very important, but we don't have very many knights. Order of Midnight can get back Chupacabra or a 1/1 Death Toucher. Do we really want to get anything back with Order of Midnight? I don't think there's actually anything in our graveyard that's that important. We have so much going on in our hand. So we're just going to cast the Lucky Clover. And we will swing in for 1. We got to kill our opponent eventually. Our opponent Lightning Strikes our face. Oh, please do not have enough to kill us. Just on your own. If they do, I'll feel really dumb. Like, if they kill us exactly, I could have Smitten Swordmaster to prevent it, but... Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, that kills our Smitten Swordmaster, most likely. So... Beanstalk Giant... Alright, so we want to cast Order of Midnight, and Lucky Clover, and Smitten Swordmaster this turn. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Beanstalk Giant only costs us 1 effective mana if we cast Lucky Clover first. So we swamp Lucky Clover, Beanstalk Giant, Order of Midnight, drain for at least 3 with Smitten Swordmaster. Potentially 6, but if our opponent's smart, they're just going to kill our Smitten Swordmaster that's on the battlefield. Okay, Beanstalk Giant triggers. Oh, it triggers 3 times. This is free. This is just a free spell. Just a casual ramp for 3 for free. Oh gosh, that's so good. Okay, we need multiple black sources this turn. I don't think it's that common that we're going to need a lot of green sources in one turn. So we're just going to grab straight swamps here. Swamp. Just a casual free spell, you know? Gosh, my computer's lagging out so badly. I don't know what's been going on recently. Okay, we draw 2. Our opponent still has their Fanatical Firebrand. And we just Smitten Swordmaster to drain. Oh, I grabbed an extra... Oh, well. Okay, they kill the Smitten Swordmaster. If they can kill the Order of Midnight, that's pretty solid. Okay, nope. All right, 3 life for 1 mana in a burn game is huge. I'm no longer feeling that threatened. Oh, I shouldn't have attacked with both. Order of Midnight can't block. And I don't have Fatal Push up. Nothing from the opponent. Ooh, Lifegain. I like Lifegain. Actually, let's start by casting Smitten Swordmaster. That's the most important play of this turn. It's lifelink, and it draws us more cards, which will help inform our future decisions. Bell of the Brawl helps us win the game a little bit faster. This I can cast for all of this mana, so I think I want to play a Swamp for Fatal Push to be held up. I should have played the Swamp post casting this, but whatever. Okay, now we're threatening our opponent with lethal. Threatening our opponent with lethal, we have a life linking blocker, a 10/10 blocker, and 8 life. Fatal Push in hand. I mean, they could just go like Bolt, Bolt, play with fire. Oh my gosh. Do they have it? Do they have just like Skewer, play with fire? Nope. Okay. We live. Oh no. No. Please, no. Please don't get it. Okay. We're good. In the clear. And the life gain from Smitten Swordmaster. Very helpful this game, I feel like. I mean, it was only 3, but it also forced our opponent, like, they also had to remove the life linking one, which removed their Fanatical Firebrand. Like, ooh, felt really good. Lots of value. Also, the double Clover into Beanstalk Giant. That just felt wrong. Just 3 free lands for next turn. Ooh. Well, on to game number 3. Game number 3. Playing against Vinko. And Edgewall Innkeeper is always pretty good. This hand's a little bit slow, but we've got a payoff and we've got a removal spell. I'm starting to regret having both Deathless Knight and Bell of the Brawl in this deck. Hello, opponent. Simply because I don't think we're going to be on the offensive that much. Like, I was thinking this would help us against, like, control matchups, but we don't need to be better against control. Because control is not going to be able to keep up with just how many cards we're playing and getting in our hand. Like, sure, counter spells on adventures is a little bit rough, but I just don't think it's a problem. All right, our opponent's probably going to just Righteous Valkyrie and make us cry. Righteous Valkyrie. Behold. Oh, and it has a counter on it. Okay. This hurts a little. We're not going to ramp with Beanstalk Giant this turn because I think we need to kill Giada. Our opponent did not draw a land last turn, which means if we kill Giada, we're ruining them mana-wise, and then Chupacabra can kill Valkyrie. Okay, Bishop of Wings, that's fine. It's rough, but it's fine. I mean, we've got to kill. We've got to kill the Valkyrie, even if it gives our opponent a 1/1. Don't think there's any other option. Because if our opponent gains enough life, okay. Here's the issue. If they have another Righteous Valkyrie in hand, Bishop of Wings gains them enough life that it's just immediately turned on. Valmire Knight is a death-touching blocker. And this is a little bit rough. This is a place where I'm a little bit sad that we were on the draw instead of the play. Definitely got punished for keeping the slow hand, but I think we might be able to pull this off. The 1/1 Spirit's scary. Our only way to handle it is with removal spells. Oh, thank God, another Giada and a land. Okay, and Portable Hole to kill an Edgewall Innkeeper. Fair enough. Okay, what are our outs? Beanstalk Giant. I think we just cast a Foulmire Knight first. Draw a card. Jungle Hollow's not fantastic. Oh boy, I wish Beanstalk Giant had reach. I know it's already a broken card, even with, like, even if it was a 0/0, like, not power and toughness is equal to the number of lands you control, it's such a good card in an adventure deck. But yeah, we've actually run pretty low on action. I mean, Beanstalk Giant can just start chunking our opponent, but if they have a Righteous Valkyrie, it immediately turns on and we just die. Please no Valkyrie. And if they had a Valkyrie, they'd play it last turn, right? Unless they really felt the need to port. I guess they were going for the max greed mode of I really want to get the +1/+1 counter on it with Giada. I guess that's what they were thinking. We cast this, we draw a card, we die. Well, Angels got us. And we'll swing in with the Death Toucher, why not? Please block opponent. Darn. Alright, we're dead. And we are 1-2. Yeah, a bit of a slow hand. I'm kind of surprised we had such a slow hand, because our deck is almost entirely 1 and 2 drops. I mean, granted, a lot of the 2 drops and the 1 drops we like don't want to. We want to sequence them just right, so they're actually slower than they seem. I may just need more removal in this deck. Also, in the sideboard, just thinking of this matchup, I have 3 copies of the Knight that says your opponents can't gain life, which is just so perfect for this deck. It hoses Angels, which is evidently a bad matchup, and it's a Knight they can pump up. Like, so good. Anyways, on to game number 4. Game number 4. Playing against Rye Havoc. And, I mean, we've got, with 8 payoffs, we're so consistently having something good in our opening hand. Edgewall Innkeeper. Hello, opponent. So when you've got Edgewall Innkeeper down, I think it's right to just play out Order of Midnight. Simply because, sure, the left side of it, the adventure side of it, draws you a card, but this side of it draws you a card too, and if Edgewall Innkeeper dies, it ceases to draw you a card. And it's a 2/2 flyer. Like, a 2/2 flyer for 2 in limited, that's actually, like, a pretty insane clock. And we've got Bell of the Brawl coming. I think we might actually see the aggro side of this deck this game. Oh, yes, we will. Okay. Play out a Swamp. Swing in. Who knows? Our opponent might have something flashy. So we'll leave up Fatal Push. Okay. Opponent just takes the damage, and we're going to Bell. I'm assuming this is going to get Bone Crusher Giant stomped. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're about to get... Oh, no. Oh, I don't... Okay. Okay. Okay, Fatal Push, we have to hold up for, like, the rest of the game. If we're not holding up Fatal Push, we probably just straight up die. Because our opponent appears to be an Indomitable Creativity deck. Which, if you don't know the card, Indomitable Creativity is sacrifice a creature, flip cards off the top of your deck until you reach a creature and put it onto the battlefield. So they have a bunch of cards in their deck that make creature tokens so that they can... Yikes. Okay. How do I beat this? I don't know of anything I can do. Like, I think I'll just Fertile Footsteps for green. Like, yikes, what else can I do? They might also just win on the fair Asika's Chariot beatdown, which would be really disappointing. Okay, getting a land. Can't cast Smitten Swordmaster because we need Fatal Push. Because Indomitable Creativity targets creatures, which means we can fizzle it by killing whatever they decide to indomitably create. I was really scared when they played this because it can tap for mana to pay for its own Indomitable Creativity, which is just a nightmare. So that's just turn 3, boom. I've got some ridiculously strong card. Okay, they create a 2/2. Fatal Push, not killing a Seeka's Chariot is looking real rough right now. Okay, what are our ways to survive? Deathless Knight can block a Seeka's Chariot. If we block with Bell of the Brawl, we can also block a Seeka's Chariot. We can drain our opponent for 2 right now. Deathless Knight swings in. Well, we can drain them for 3 and swing in with a 4/4 haste. Kill the cat. Swing in. Now let's see what our opponent tries to copy with the Seeka's Chariot. If they try to copy. You know what? We might actually be able to. Oh, wait a second. Do we have lethal here? Okay, I got to do some math. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have lethal. Oh no! I needed to kill the goblin. Oh, I needed to kill the goblin before they copied it. Oops. Yeah, and they would have a blocker anyways. Dang it, it just barely didn't work. Pass to blockers, I guess no blocks. Take the damage. Alright, if they tap this, if they tap their monk, then we win. Dang it. Oh, we're so close to winning right here. We might still win just off of... I mean, how much damage can they deal to us next turn? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage? And we're going to be gaining some back? Okay, 1, 2, 3, plus 5, plus 3. That's 11 damage. Plus Smitten Swordmaster. Okay, here's the plan. No! My lands! Oh, I let the auto tapper tap for me. Oh no, I can't Smitten Swordmaster this turn. That's brutal. Oh, that's game-losingly brutal. I can't gain the life. I'll attack with these two. Next turn, I can chump block with Deathless Knight next turn. And then Smitten Swordmaster, and then bring back Deathless Knight, and then swing in hope that's good enough. You know, I'll swing with the Innkeeper. Why not? Oh my gosh, that was so bad. Okay, we get rid of 1 mana source for them. And 1 blocker for them. Okay, next turn. Oh, and they're probably just going to hit Indomitable Creativity here. Karavek doesn't really beat us. I'm trying to think of what weird cards they could have. Coma probably beats us. If they're just going to coma us, we're... Oh, there's Luca. Okay. Alternative. This is an alternative to Indomitable Creativity. Isuka's Chariot getting in. Luca gonna exile a cat, get a Titan of Industry. They didn't gain life. How are they attacking? Okay, they've got 2 blockers. 3 blockers. Ugh, I hate Isuka's Chariot. I think I misplayed this game, though. I think... Yeah, the way that our opponent blocked, they blocked the Edgewall Innkeeper. If they had to block the Edgewall Innkeeper, we won if I auto-tapped correctly. I don't know if they would have, but it would have been such a great ploy where it would have been, you're going down to 1 light. or no, they'd be going down to 3 life. They would have been perfectly fine. And then I was just going to Smitten Swordmaster, kill them. Oh well, past is in the past. Okay, Deathless Knight, if I block with it, it's kind of free. Except I drain for 1 less life. I attack with all of these. They block this with Titan of Industry, this with that. Bell gets through for 3 damage. Innkeeper gets walled. Can't win. Okay, I'm going to go no blocks. No blocks has the most chance of us somehow having a weird win, like second Smitten Swordmaster wins us the game. Lucky Clover wins us the game! Menace on Bell of the Brawl is about to win us this game. Okay, so Lucky Clover. Whenever I cast an adventure spell, copy it. I'm very scared of the fact that our opponent has priority, but I think it's just because they can crew Essica's Chariot. Drain our opponent for 6 life. Our opponent cannot block Bell of the Brawl without letting in 2 attackers. Every attacker besides Edgewall Innkeeper is lethal. That is the game. I don't know why I cast Smitten Swordmaster. There was no reason to, but I'm just happy. Swing everything at our opponent. Good game. The Knights come through despite my auto-tapper punt. They block Order of Midnight. They have to double block Bell of the Brawl. Also, my screen is a little glitchy. Sorry, opponent. It has Menace. Woo! Opponent scoops it up. Alrighty. Oh, and there we go. Once again, like I feel like Smitten Swordmaster is the star of this deck. It just forces through a lot of surprise burn. Like that was 6 burn damage for 1 mana. I guess kind of 3 mana because we did play the Lucky Clover, but Lucky Clover's already so good in the deck. Whew. Incredible game. On to game 5. Let's see if we can get this winning record. Game number 5. For the winning record. Can an Artisan deck get the winning record in Explorer? And we've got a lot of interaction here. We've got a payoff. We've got some card advantage in a weird way. Yeah. Oh, Lunarch Veteran. Eek. Okay. Do we Edgewall win Innkeeper, or do we greed? Well, do we greed Edgewall Innkeeper, or do we leave up Fatal Push? I think Fatal Push is fine to cast next turn. If our opponent plays like a Trelasara or whatever that spirit is, then we can just Fatal Push it this next turn. Okay, Johnny's Welcome. And Lunarch Veteran. Yeah. Glad I didn't hold up Fatal Push. Elspeth's Nightmare, looking like it's going to be pretty good here. And it's time to keep the pressure on Order of Midnight. Okay, Bell comes. I don't think we're casting Bell. I think we really want Elspeth's Nightmare. We're not in Historic, so our opponent's not playing the Infinite Squirrels combo. I don't think they're a Coco deck, too. Oh gosh, that's a lot of... Our opponent's gaining all the life in the world. Okay. But they just got a bunch of 1/1s. And they're refusing to swing. They don't want to give up any of their little 1/1s. Trying to think. Alright, so our opponent's gonna get a payoff soon. I don't actually care that much about them gaining a bunch of life. So I think the best play here is to kill the Alcid. That should clear the way. A lot of the payoffs in their deck are going to be super cheap, which means Fatal Push should be effective at killing them, and getting Alcid off the table turns on Fatal Push for potential problematic cards like, oh my gosh, that's gonna kill us. Oh crap, that's huge. Don't, oh, dang it, they're spreading out the counters. Jeez Louise, that's a lot of damage. Okay, I understand why they weren't attacking earlier. They wanted every single life gain trigger. Target opponent reveals their hand. That is neither non-creature nor non-land. However, we can kill 2 of our opponent's creatures, which should keep Heliod off the battlefield. Granted, just playing Alced gives them a ton of value. Like a ridiculous amount of value. We're going to want to kill a Lunarch Veteran on our opponent's end step with Fatal Push. Because if we do it on the end step, that prevents them from getting... That'll let it get exiled to Elspeth's Nightmare. Okay, so first play is 100% this. Elspeth's Nightmare. Get rid of Lunarch Veteran. The other issue is we need to make sure Heliod is turned off. But our opponent can play 2 more white sources next turn, and we can only remove 1. Which is a problem. Okay. Indestructible enchantment. Gosh dang. Wondering if maybe I should have like Terra Sunder in the main deck. Ooh, that is greedy. No, that's not. That guarantees that Heliod stays on the battlefield. Solid play opponent. They cast Alced, which means we are going to exile 2 Lunarch Veterans from the graveyard. It does mean our opponent's also going to get in an attack with the Heliod, but... And they're going to get stupid big creatures. What the heck? Okay. What can we do here? I just realized Order of Midnight can't chump block, which makes Order of Midnight looping less powerful than I thought it was. Okay. We have to chump block here. Simply because Alced can give our opponent... Actually, no, we don't. Because Alced can only give protection from 1 color. We just have to hope we draw removal to turn off Heliod. And that our opponent like draws a land next turn. I don't know what they're thinking about. They only have... They can... Sacrifice your Alced, please, opponent. I'm very fine with that plan. They lose both Lunarch Veterans, and we draw pretty much nothing. Exile target opponent's graveyard. Target opponent reveals their hand. Luckily, we get rid of those. Elspeth's Nightmare looking great this game. However, it's simply not looking great enough. Okay, we need 2 chump blockers to survive. One of which has to be black. But that does mean that I'm okay. Okay. Yeah, we're in desperation mode. We just have to high roll. We're going to play Order of Midnight, trigger Edgewall and Keeper, and hopefully draw into something good. Something good? Something good? Please? Opponent really thinking about that Alced. One nice thing is if our opponent does sack the Alced, Heliod turns off. Heliod just... Oh, that hurts. Okay. Alright, we have to double chump block this turn. Ravenous Chupacabra next turn. We kind of have to target Lunarch Veteran with it. Okay. Order of Midnights can't block, so we get in for 4 damage. If our opponent draws a creature, we get in for 2 damage. If our opponent draws a creature, they win. Because they can trigger 3 life gains, turn Alced into a lethal threat. Yes, let's go. Alright. Another creature gets lifelink, sure. Oh wait, that's a big problem. Heliod no longer turns off. Heliod's gonna last forever. Because that's another white mana symbol. Jeez, I need Terra Sunder in this deck so badly. Terra Sunder would just ruin our opponent at this point. so badly. Your graveyard's exiled, opponent. We survive one more turn. By playing a Ravenous Choo-Choo. Oh, wait. Our opponent did not leave up mana, which means we might survive 2 more turns with this, which means Edgewall Innkeeper stays in play, which actually vastly increases our chances of survival. Now, it may seem weird to kill the Lunarch Veteran when it is potentially a flyer in the future. Oh, and it's guaranteed a creature that they can play. I'm an idiot. I need to kill Alcide. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Now they've got tons of lethal threats. Oh, I messed up. Okay. Deserved that loss, 100%. Okay. On to the deck wrap-up. A 2-3 record. But I honestly think this deck felt more like a 4-1. I think I made it badly. So, changes that I would make. Well, actually, let's first talk about what went well and what didn't go well. So what went well, Edgewall Innkeeper and Lucky Clover giving us card advantage worked super well. Foulmire Knight, as just a 1/1 Death Toucher that triggers Edgewall Innkeeper, was an incredible card. Smitten Swordmaster, like, I feel like multiple of the games that we lost, if I had have played it better, well, oh no, only one of the games we lost, if I had have utilized it better, I think we could have won. And it won us another game. Sprouting Renewal felt really good. We only saw it in one game, but it felt really solid. Elspeth's Nightmare felt pretty solid. Like, our removal in general, Fatal Push didn't actually feel as good as I feel like it should, simply because we don't have many permanents leaving the battlefield. Cards that underperformed. Deathless Knight and Bell of the Brawl. I really wanted to have more knights for the sake of Smitten Swordmaster. But I think Smitten Swordmaster is fine with 3 less knights in the deck, especially if we replace them with another Sprouting Renewal, potentially, which is a pseudo knight, and maybe one of our sideboard knights. We've got Knight of Dusk's Shadow we could play in the main deck. I think one Deathless Knight in the sideboard is kind of a funny, okay option, although I've already got Gaia's Blessing in the graveyard for mill. I don't know. I was thinking it's a funny anti-mill tech, but I think it should probably also be left. Terra Sunder, I think, should be in the main deck as well. Just running against Heliod, running against quite a few decks where we just needed more removal, I think Terra Sunder is the answer. So if I were to make changes to the deck, cut Deathless Knight, cut 2 Bell of the Brawls, switch 2 Jungle Hollows for Evolving Wilds to trigger Fatal Push more, and let's see, so, and then add 1 Sprouting Renewal and 2 Terra Sunders. Maybe even another Chupacabra, maybe another Beanstalk Giant. Like, Beanstalk Giant felt really solid on games where we got the Lucky Clover, but sometimes it's just a little bit too slow, so I think 3 is the right number. Order of Midnight had another awkward thing where we're usually on the back foot with this deck. We're trying to react, we're trying to gain a little bit of life, we're trying to smear our opponent with card advantage, but it just takes too long, and having a creature that can't block hurt. I think it's fine in the deck. It's probably one of the best cheap knights for this deck, so I think I'd keep all 4, but in order to make it better, I might want to run another Chupacabra. So I'd probably add 1 more Sprouting Renewal, 1 more Ravenous Chupacabra, 1 more, 1 Terra Sunder in the main deck, cut the bells, cut the whistles, Deathless Knight, and I'd probably call that a better deck. So I'm disappointed that we lost with this, though. It felt super good. I highly recommend this deck. I feel like it would do well if you built it right. I think this could be a great stomper in the in an Artisan tournament. Sprouting Renewal, I think, if you're going to an Artisan Explorer tournament, should be a 4 of. Uh, Anvil decks are running rampant there, so Sprouting Renewal, just as a potentially 0 mana way to kill an Anvil, seems super strong. Sadly, it is a sorcery, but it's such a solid card. And anti-Miltech, I'd maybe add a little bit more. I might have a Chainweb Arachnid. It's a escape card in the sideboard. But really, really solid deck. Lots of card advantage. Seem to have a good game plan. I just wish I hadn't have gone so all in on the aggressive side of the deck. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope maybe to come back. I'm wondering if there's another Lucky Clover deck. I don't think there is. But thank you for watching the video, and keep enjoying Budget Magic.